Hey there, Ray Daniels here to talk to you about how to clean and inspect a faucet from a draft system. This is our standard American rear shutoff faucet. This is what you'll find in most bars in the United States today. When it's time to clean the lines, which is every 2 weeks or 14 days, these faucets will be removed and then cleaning solution will be circulated through the lines. While the cleaning solution is being circulated through the lines, the faucet needs to be hand cleaned. In order to hand clean the faucet, the first thing we have to do is disassemble it. This top part here, often a much larger branded item from the brewery, is called the marker. So the first thing you want to do is remove the marker. It is a screw-off device. The marker is held in place and oriented through the use of the collar, this large piece right here. And then holding this lever in place is the bonnet. And we remove the bonnet, take that off, and then we have the lever. The lever itself has 2 washers on it, a rubber washer as well as a friction ring. And the friction ring has an orientation. There's a bottom that's rounded, has a ball, recessed area, for the ball shape of the lever here, and then a flat top. So when we put those back together, it's important to put them in the right order. Now, once we've removed the handle and the lever, there's an internal plunger assembly here. This plunger assembly actually has 3 parts. There's the main shaft itself. There's actually a little nut on the back side that comes off, and then there is a small gasket or washer on there as well. This gasket or washer is very important because this is actually what stops the flow of beer coming through the faucet when we shut off the faucet. I'm just going to stick this back together here again. Now normally when you disassemble the faucet, this plunger assembly, it's going to be this plunger nut is going to be very tightly screwed on there. You're not going to be able to take it off just by hand pressure. You'll need a screwdriver and probably something to put through this slot in the plunger to hold it steady while you loosen that nut. But inspecting this gasket is very important because we want to make sure that it is free of cracks and tears so that it will not leak in any way when we close the faucet. So that's the plunger assembly. Then we have the body of the faucet itself. We've taken off all the various pieces at this point, and you can see that there are a couple of primary passageways through here. There's a horizontal shaft, the sort of Y shaft where the beer comes out. There's a top opening where the lever goes in. And very important couple things on here. One is on the back side there is a gasket where the faucet attaches to the draft tower, and this gasket is essential to creating a good seal between the faucet and the draft tower. If that gasket is not there, if it's not properly in place, or if it's torn, cracked, or otherwise in poor condition, then we're likely to have leaking from the faucet once we attach it back to the draft tower. So do inspect that gasket when you're going through the process of cleaning as well. Second is there are a couple of vent holes in this faucet. And when you look down through the top here, you can see them. One of them goes from this horizontal passageway just out to the exterior here. It's right about there. The other one passes from the horizontal shaft down to the beer shaft down here. And these 2 air holes together, or vent holes together, allow air to come into the faucet and allow air to get back all the way back into the faucet and allow beer to fall freely out of the faucet when the faucet is shut off. In order for these vent holes to do their job properly, they must be clean. They must be free of debris. And so that's why we bring it up now when we're talking about cleaning and inspecting the faucet. When you go through the cleaning process, typically what we do, we disassemble all these components, we drop them into some caustic solution, a 2% or 3% caustic solution, same as we're using for cleaning our lines. Now, when you're working with caustic solution, you have to be cautious. Caustic dissolves organic material, These two things right here, my hands are organic material, so are my eyes, nostrils, etc. So when we're working with caustic, it's important to use gloves, to wear glasses or safety goggles to keep the caustic away from your skin and other sensitive membranes. So safety in the process of working with the caustic. So we soak these items in the caustic solution for 10 or 15 minutes. Then we're going to want to scrub these with a nylon bristle brush, like a bottle brush. It's an appropriate size for these passageways. Just brush through these various things to make sure there's no debris on there. Same thing on the shaft itself. Then you're going to want to check these little vent holes. And if the vent holes themselves are plugged or blocked in any way, you're going to need to get in there and get those cleaned out. A very tiny brush may be available to do that. The other thing you might use is a paper clip, a metal paper clip that might be able to push through there and push debris out. You do not want to use a toothpick. Often mentioned, but if you stick a toothpick in there and you wind up breaking the toothpick off inside those holes, now you've got a problem and you've got a faucet that's no longer functional. So use an appropriate brush or something that will not break to make sure you've got all the gunk and debris pushed out of those vent holes as well. All right, so we hand clean all of this material, all of these items in the faucet. Then we're doing the inspection. We're inspecting our vent holes to make sure they're good. We're looking at our gasket on the back, on the plunger assembly, and even these gaskets that we've got on the lever assembly to make sure that they're all in good shape. And eventually we're going to start reassembling them. The white friction ring goes lower down against the ball on the lever. Black one goes on top. Remember that the white friction ring has an orientation. There's a curved or recessed portion that goes against the ball and a flat portion that goes up on the top. And the other thing to notice once you finish cleaning the faucet and you're reassembling it, look at the surface of the faucet itself, particularly on the interior. You want to make sure you're doing this in good light. Most of these faucets are chrome plated brass. So there's a brass body that's simply been covered with a chrome coating. And over time that chrome coating can actually wear away, can degenerate, and begin to uncover the brass that's underneath. And when this happens, it's time to throw that faucet out and get a new one. Preferably go to a stainless steel faucet. Stainless steel faucet is superior because it has fewer pores and pits and will resist the buildup of dirt and debris in the faucet to begin with. And it's going to have a longer life because there is no possibility of breakthrough when you wear away chrome. So look for any brass exposure on the interior, the parts that have been frequently brushed or cleaned. That brass is bad news because it will impart a metallic flavor to your beer. So once we've done our inspection then on these various items, make sure it's clean, look for brass, check all the gaskets. Now we're going to reassemble by putting the plunger assembly in, making sure the slot is lined up here in the lever hole so that the lever can drop right down into that little slot. And now we put the bonnet back on. The bonnet gets screwed down tight. The lever should be able to move back and forth properly. Now the collar itself gets screwed on next. It does not get screwed all the way down tight on the bonnet. If you put it down tight on the bonnet, it restricts movement of it. The collar is there primarily to help you orient the marker when you put the marker on. Remember, normally this is going to be a larger handle that's branded in some way, and when you screw it on and it's on the draft tower, you want it facing in a particular direction so that the consumer can see what brand is on. So you screw it down fairly far, make sure it's oriented the way you want, and then you screw this collar back the reverse way up against the marker, so that it creates friction between the marker and the collar itself, giving it a good sort of lock there so that the marker will remain oriented the way you want it, and this will be a stable operating position. So that is the cleaning and inspection of the common rear shutoff draft faucet. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.